Just like the thumbnail says, I have gone 3 years. It's actually closer to 5 years with no social media whatsoever downloaded on my phone at all. And I'm going to share with my experience what that has been like. So I ended up going on this journey, first off, because of the restlessness I think most people have and the anxiety from scrolling endlessly and mindlessly on Facebook and things like this. So what I did is I ended up deleting all of them because I was like, these things are not benefiting my life. They're not growing me spiritually. And although this was not an issue for me, I have a lot of friends around me who have shared with me, guys, I got on Instagram, and then they started scrolling, and then they saw one picture of a girl who was not dressed like they should be. And then now they ended up going onto a website they know they shouldn't have been on, and now here they are falling into sexual sin yet again. So I said, I'm going to make a decision to really be radical about this social media thing, and I'm going to get rid of it entirely. And I want to share my experience and what that's been like. I am somebody who doesn't watch any secular TV. I don't watch any secular movies. I don't listen to any secular music. I don't watch any news either, other than, things that are related to my work that I do. I will listen to things in that context, but like world news, I don't know what Biden said last week. I have no idea what happened with Trump last week. I have no idea what's happened in the White House or Congress whatsoever. That gets in and of itself a lot of people very upset. And then part of that, though, as well, is that I don't get on any social media. Now, what this is not for the sake of is to make me better than you, more spiritual than you, or closer to Jesus than you. I'm not saying any of those things. But what I am saying is the lack of anxiety and stress that comes into my life because of not having these temptations to become stressed is exponential. I mean, for context, from the age of 14 to the age of 21, I had social media and I was on it for hours a day, every single day of my life. So it's not like this is a new thing where, or something where I've never had the experience of social media. I used to be on it very regularly, and I actually used to use it for my work very regularly as well, where I would be on every single day, talking to people, commenting, conversating with people. And actually, I grew my business through social media. So again, that was like 4 or 5, 6 years ago now. But after I got that part down where I was like, okay, I don't need to be on here doing this all the time, living on social media, I got rid of it. And you'll see my content on social media. I don't define YouTube as social media. If you do, then I do obviously use YouTube as you're watching this. And I also post videos on TikTok as well. But again, I'm not on or actively using any of these social media platforms. So yes, I personally have the self-control that I can get on TikTok every single day, post videos on TikTok every single day. And I never watch a single TikTok video myself though. Right? So the stress is the biggest thing that's taken out of my life. The second thing is the lack of being present in life that I find in a lot of people that they struggle with. Is that there are people who are very regularly not present because they're always just checking for the next like or comment or conversation that they're having, or anxious about the next post to keep their social media following up. And I think this is more applicable to people with a following than people without a following, because people without a following, I don't see them have that kind of anxiety as much, but they always have this aimless, I don't have anything to do, so I'm just going to check my phone again kind of mentality. And that's just really unhealthy, because the number one problem I see with Christians in this is these are people who are generally not reading their Bible on a regular basis, but they're able to whip out their phone and check Facebook on a regular basis. It's like, okay, you're not doing as well as you could be spiritually, and just commands you to read his word because you're so focused on pulling out your phone and doing this kind of anxious thing. So it stops you from distractions and it allows you to focus on things that actually matter. So let's assume for you it's not sin. Let's assume that it's not a sexual morality problem. Let's assume for you it's not a temptation to get into any sin, hang out with friends that you're not supposed to be, seeing things inappropriate that you're not supposed to be, maybe seeing people smoking weed all the time, and then it encourages you to smoke weed. Let's assume that you're not in those categories. And you're just a mindless scroller. My wife just said this the other day, and it was really profound. She said, I watch many videos on Facebook. Again, 100% appropriate and everything. And she's like, if you were to ask me what any of those videos were about, I can't think of, in the past month, what any of those videos' contents were about at all. Because it's just mindless, aimless scrolling and video watching. She's like, now, if you ask me for YouTube, she's like, I can tell you in detail what those videos were about. She was just watching a video the other day about, the Egyptians or whatever. And like on Nat Geo. And so she's learning things, and she's like, what am I doing wasting all this time on these platforms that are not having any sort of benefit in my life? And then the other thing that we were talking about in this conversation, what I find really profound as well, is how, you're keeping up with the Joneses' life, and you know the problems in their life and the victories in their life, and you feel like you have a relationship with this person. But in all actuality, you have no relationship with this person whatsoever. Zero. You don't have any relationship with this person. And obviously, I know some people you do, but people who you learn about their lives because of social media, you have zero relationship with this person whatsoever, yet you're still having this feeling like you are. And especially people who are struggling, You feel like you're carrying this burden with them, but you're not helping them. You're not there for them. So this person is posting on social media, and generally this is an evident, cry for help for the struggles that they're going through. And you're not there helping them with any of those struggles at all. You're just sitting on the sidelines in the background, learning about their struggles, but not being of any better. You'd be better off spiritually to not know about it in the first place than to know about it and not do anything about it. So with all of that context, my challenge for you is, why do you have social media? I believe that there's one logical, beneficial reason that you could have social media, and that's to use it to spread the gospel. Now, what I did not just say is that you're sinning if you have it. And also what I did not just say is that if you've posted one thing or in your bio you have John 3:16, that means that you're doing the right thing. I'm talking about people who are actively using it almost exclusively for the purpose of preaching the gospel to people. And I understand that there's, again, a very, very small percentage group of people, this is generally older people anyways, who are using it just to keep up with family, right? It's easier for them to just see it from their family than to text, and asking for pictures from their family every 2 seconds. So again, I understand that there is a group of those people, but it is a very small percentage versus the mindless scrollers, the aimless scrollers. And again, especially when these people aren't having a relationship with Jesus like they ought to, but they have all this time for Snapchat like they feel like they should. So if you're not using it explicitly for the purpose of presenting the gospel to people on a regular basis. Like for me, if you go to my TikTok, you will see nothing but Jesus videos. No funny videos, no silly videos. And again, I'm not saying those things are even sin. I'm just saying you're not seeing those things on my platforms. It's Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And then on top of that, if you're using it, again, this doesn't mean that it is in and of itself sin, but I want you to consider the stress, the anxiety, the depression, the worry that you have in your life, and ask yourself, is there any percentage chance that any of this is stemming or being inflated or inflamed by the fact that I'm on social media? Does my self-body image issues have anything to do with the fact that I'm seeing other girls that I feel look better than me on social media? Is there any reason that I feel like I'm worthless when it comes to being a man because I'm seeing all these other men who are stronger than me and more financially well off? And those things play a negative impact in your spiritual walk. Because if that's the case, then I would say it's probably a beneficial thing for you to at least attempt to get rid of it for a month. And this brings me to, I think, the final point I want to make on this. I encourage everybody, regardless of whether you believe that Jesus has commanded you to get rid of this or not. Again, if you're falling into sexual sin, if there's obvious sin in your life that stems from social media, then the answer is you unquestionably are commanded to get off of it from Jesus' words. But let's assume that you're not in that place. Here's my challenge. Get rid of it for 30 days. And see what happens. Now, when I say that, if you immediately come up with 3 reasons that you can't, shouldn't, or won't, then I think I'm really talking to you. If you're like, yeah, I could do that, that'd be easy. Okay, then cool, then do it. If you're like, no, I can't do that. I can't be out of this. I need to be in this group. I need to be able to make sure I'm talking to this person. Well, what about Messenger? Well, what about, and I don't have any, like if you're the person who's making the excuses and arguments as to why you can't right now, then I really strongly encourage you to do it. Because if you can't do it, then it shows that this might be an idol in your life. And this might be something that you think that you need in your life to be okay. And in that case, I'd say that you're really, really missing the point. You're really, really missing it then. So I would challenge you, get rid of it for 30 days. And after those 30 days, if you're like, hey, I'm doing good. I appreciate doing it. That was beneficial. I see the benefit in potentially doing it, but I want to get back on it. Cool, get back on it then. But I would argue that if everybody who watched this video did as I just said, the probability of you getting back on social media at a later point is highly improbable, because you recognize, oh my gosh, I was using this time for many times aimless scrolling, and now I'm using it for time with Jesus, that you'll be growing so much in your relationship with Jesus that you will have no interest in that anyways. So again, it's not a command. It's not legalism. I'm not saying if you have it, you're a bad person, you're sinning, or God's not happy with you, or I'm better than you, or something like that. I just want you to consider the potential benefits of you getting off of it and understand the likely detriments of you being on it. Take those things out and see if you grow in your walk with Jesus because of it. If it's been a benefit, let me know in some way. That'd be much appreciated. If you would subscribe, it just helps us get this to more people in the kingdom. And appreciate you all. Love you all. I'll chat with you guys in the next one.